What's up, guys? Kaisa, Donnelly. I think you guys will be the main ones to be watching this and using this, hopefully, but check it out. What I'm going to do is describe basically how I make my slides, and I think I got it down really well to, this is what we're going to be making right here, the finished product. Alright, and this is in the perfluorophenanthrene instead of perfluorodecaline. I actually like this one a lot better. Alright, so what I have here is Valap. Valap is 1:1:1 of Vaseline, lanolin, and beeswax. And then the other things you guys are going to need besides the liquid immersion here, and I have the roots already in the PPP is what I'm calling it. So they're inside this tube. We're going to grab them out later. We just need like 2 paintbrushes, alright? And I'm going to use the thinner, smaller one. I'm going to get that Valap off as much as possible and just quickly streak it. I don't want this to be too big. I don't need the cage to be very big, but that's what we're doing right now. We're making a cage. Alright, and a quick slide again. Alright, just 2 more. Again, remember, like, get like a lot of that Valap off. You don't need a bunch to make this cage. I think the bigger it is, the more liquid you'll need and the harder it'll be. So making it thin and small is great. Alright, so this cage right here, whatever that might be, like 2 by 2 centimeters. Alright, that's gonna be about 100 microliters of the PPP. So let's go ahead, well, this is set to 50. Let's go ahead and get that in. While I'm doing this, I want to mention that inside the tube here containing the roots that I isolated, it's mainly the root tips, there's about 50 microliters. So this is actually a 2-step process. As I've learned, this is the best way to do this. So I'm going to add the 100 microliters straight to this cage. Alright, then using forceps, I'm going to grab the roots from the tube, and this is not the fastest process, so I'm sorry about that, but I'm going to try to make it quick for the sake of the video. We don't all have to be sitting around here forever. Alright, and another thing to note is the tissue inside this PPP liquid will not want to cooperate very well. Alright, so I only had 2, so this is great. Right, now everything has been easy so far, right? So now comes like a bit of that skill and art part. And not that, but this. And I'm going to drop the slide on, and you'll see that there's going to be a little bit of air bubbles and non-cooperativity. Right, well, I think one of the roots is actually really big, so that's the main problem here. Alright, so the way we're going to take care of this is, remember I said there's already 50 microliters in the tube. We're going to go ahead and grab that and use that to fill up the missing gap. Because you don't want any air bubbles in there. You want the sample to be nice and covered. Right, and like, it's really hard to see, but like, I made sure the cover slide was kind of left hanging over a part of the cage that had the liquid. We'll move it over later. Alright, and as I'm covering this up, I'm getting all the air bubbles pretty much filled. So when we slide this over and seal it, not really getting any pressure. It's going to be sealed and no air bubbles, and it's going to be a nice slide. Actually, a little bit more. One of these roots is really big, so it's like kind of pushing the slide up. Alright, so now using forceps, gonna slide this over. Where is it? There it is. Alright, great. We don't have any air bubbles, so now this is a great slide. What we're gonna do is seal it so that if we turn the slide upside down on its side or whatever, it's not spilling any of this liquid. So go and go grab that Valap. This time I'm using the bigger brush, and we want to actually have a good bit of this Valap on there. Not necessarily too much, there's dripping everywhere, but we want to make sure that this is nice and sealed and not just drips, so that's not cool, because the stuff does not leave nice marks on your work table. That's why we actually have this white sheet here. And the other thing is you're doing this, watch out, like right here I've covered up a bit of that root, so you don't want to do that. The Valap does autofluoresce, and it is going to cover up your signal, which for roots, the GFP is not very strong. So, oh, I did it again. Let's hope they're oriented so the roots aren't there, but if they are, we might have to go back in and actually break it down and reorient. But there it is. So the last step, of course, is to make sure to label your the strap, label your slide. Okay, this is from Rockwell. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. Now you have this slide. This is a more dried one. You know, you might have some of that PPP outside. You can always go with a chem wipe and kind of collect that. But you can, you know, turn this upside down, sideways. It's not leaking anywhere. It's a nice ice sealed slide. And this combination of Vaseline, lanolin, and beeswax should not mess up your microscope lens if you end up touching it, and it's good for if you do like immersion microscopy. It's not going to be getting into that liquid because most of the stuff is, again, fats and waxes. So, all right, that's the protocol.